Yo, ladies, what's going on? What's popping? So real quick, I just want to explain to you something real simple that I think most women just don't get. And that thing is this, is if a man is not committing to you, it's because he does not want to commit to you. Like, he just doesn't want to do that with you. It's that simple. There's really no other reason than that. Right? Because what happens is that to save, your ego from getting bruised, you want to come up with all these different excuses and different reasons as to why that guy doesn't want to commit to you. You're like, oh, he's just immature. He just doesn't, know that he has a good thing. He's just intimidated by a strong woman like me. You understand? He just can't handle being in a relationship. He's not mature enough to take that next step. And, he just wants to be a player. No, that guy just does not want to be with you. You understand? He doesn't want to be with you. See, this is why you have situations where a woman is with a guy. They, been together for a while. And next, they break up. And then later on down the line, she sees him with some new girl, and then they end up married, within a few months. Sometimes, it could take a year or so, but it's quicker than what happened with the last girl. Right? That's because he wanted to commit to that woman. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't want to commit to you. Now, see, understand that there are going to be certain guys that's going to go at a different pace. So just because, the guy you're with hasn't committed to you now or hasn't made that move now doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to. But you have to see what type of guy you're dealing with, because there's a difference between a guy who is working towards something and he's bringing you along for the ride and he's, trying to build with you, trying to grow with you. Right. It's one thing if you're with that type of guy and let's say you want to get married, you want a husband or whatever, you want him to be your husband. He may take a little longer because he's more of like a guy who's, looking at the bigger picture, and he might say, hey, I want to put certain things in place before I take shit to a next level. But then you have guys who ain't really about nothing. You understand? You got guys who are just kind of like all over the place. And, it's weird that you don't even want to be with these guys, but there are guys like that. They're inconsistent. They don't really got their shit together and all this other stuff. And then so those guys, if you've been with them for a while and they're not really working towards anything in their own life, they're not really, responsible. They're not really about anything. Yeah, those are the type of guys that'll string you along. Shit won't really go anywhere. And you're just kind of wasting your time. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to be able to look at who you're dealing with and peep how he moves. Right. And so when you have a guy who is interested in you and wants to commit to you, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You understand? The shit's going to happen. And you'll see based off of the how your relationship is progressing. You understand? See, a dude who's really about something and really wants to make something happen, you'll see it and you'll know it and you'll feel it. You understand what I'm saying? And you'll see it going down that path, because see, when a guy who's about something sees or gets with a chick who he sees is about something, who's on point, and you're being that on point chick, he's not going to want to lose you. He's not going to want to let that go. You understand what I'm saying? And so as long as you are on point, right, you're going to find a guy who's on point and then y'all could, build and make something happen. But understand that, if, just in general, if a guy isn't committing to you and he's not really working towards something, and he's just a guy who's not, he's all over the place, he ain't really got his shit together, he's just on some BS, right? He not really feeling you like that. He's not. And that same guy who's on that BS, who's all over the place, he'll turn around and get with another chick tomorrow and wife her up ASAP. You understand what I'm saying? But that's because, see, he's the type of guy who's just on some weirdo, goofy type stuff, because what happens is that a lot of times if a guy doesn't see you as girlfriend material, wifey material, whatever, right? And he's just a on point guy. He's not really going to take it to those levels with you for you to even think it's going to be any type of long-term committed type of situation. You understand what I'm saying? He's only going to do that with a woman he sees potential in, that he sees that he wants to do that with. See, the guys who are all over the place, the guys who's on some BS, the guys who ain't about nothing, those are the ones who usually string you along and do all that other bullshit because they don't know where the fuck they going. They don't have no plans. They're not really trying to make nothing happen. Right? And so they just going based off their emotions, going with the flow and shit. And so this is why, they stop seeing you and then they get with some other random girl and then you see them engaged in like 4 months. You're like, what the fuck is this? You understand what I'm saying? So, you ain't got to really worry about those motherfuckers. They on some goofy shit anyway. But just understand that, whatever guy you're with, if he's not feeling you, he ain't gonna commit to you. It just is what it is.